Listen, I checked the DVD menu to be sure. The DVD menu is going to be the list we're going with now. And you don't even have to worry about it because this is actually the... Wow. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills episode review. We gotta start off today with a little bit of weirdness. I mean, besides the usual weirdness of this show. And to explain why, I need to talk a little bit about next time. No, I don't mean the next review. I'm talking about the literal next time segment. The Wikipedia article for this show has a list of all of the episodes and a one-sentence summary of what happens. Very convenient for me. So, I've been going by that list to tell you what's happening in the next episode. You might remember that last week, I prepared you folks for an episode called The Quitter. And you may have glanced down at the title of this video and noticed that that is not what you're getting today. That's because it turns out that the DVD's episode order does not match the list on Wikipedia. And seeing as Wikipedia is a user-edited encyclopedia, and the DVD is from the official rights holders of the show, I'm going to assume that it's the DVD that has the proper episode order. So we're not going to be looking at The Quitter today. Hey, totally not 90s dude, can you give me a quick preview for the real 7th episode, The Spy? Sure. I mean, this list says The Spy is the 10th episode, but whatevs. Emperor Gorganus sends Isolus to Earth disguised as a foreign exchange student named Ilsa Lang. Is she hot? Well, I guess we're about to find out. Let's take a look at, I suppose, the actual 7th episode of Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills, The Spy. This episode starts off a little weird right from the word go, as perhaps copying the Today on Power Rangers segment, we get a little 10-second preview of the episode. That then leads into the theme song, when it feels like a preview like that should lead into a cold open. The episode itself then begins with Gorganus lecturing a monster for failure. Okay, so I guess we're starting at the end of the episode. It's unclear what this monster has actually failed at. All indications are that it's a battle against the Sentinels, so now I guess we're working those unseen battles that the Sentinels keep mentioning just into the plot itself. Anyway, this monster actually has a voice and can talk. And her name is Isolus. She begs the Emperor for one more chance, and he grants it, saying that he will be amused either by her success or by her punishment. There is a party going on at Drew's house. There's no real indication what the party's for, but hey. Drew is dressed in the finest of gothic black, and then Lori shows up, dressed like a typical cheerleader going to the beach, and says that Drew should be getting some sun. But instead of proclaiming her proud gothicness, Drew's reasoning is almost the polar opposite, actually. Beauty? An hour in the sun ages your skin a year. Moving on. Besides, she says she's having too much fun watching Gordon and Swinton, who, by the way, in rewatching some of the previous reviews in this series, I've realized I have an odd tendency to switch the names of. I'll work on it. Drool over a new foreign exchange student, Ilsa. Lori says she can't see what they see in her and comes off sounding just a little bit jealous. Swinton starts to tell a nerd joke, but Gordon cuts him off, telling Ilsa that there is an American Express card above the Platinum level. For the record, that is the American Express Centurion card, which many people just refer to as the Black card. She plays right into both of them, telling Gordon that she'll listen to every word about this amazing credit card. Right after she listens to Swinton tell his funny yoke. Oops, was that supposed to be joke? Sometimes she has trouble communicating. At the cafe, the girls are trying to talk some sense into the boys, pointing out that Ilsa was flirting with everyone at the party, even the plumber, but the guys aren't having it. Lori says she's seen this type before. They start out all dewy-eyed and innocent, and then when they've got you hooked, bam! They turn cold as ice. Then Gordon's tattoo flashes, but only his. He whines, feeling like he was just about to go on a date with Ilsa, but duty calls, money boy, chop chop. This scene in the cave is odd. Nimbar has detected an energy signature that seems kind of strange coming from the desert. It seems like it's Ninjabot, the first monster that the Galactic Sentinels fought, but something's not right about it. Gordon says it would have been better if the energy signature were Elvis. Nimbar's response is to burp. Gordon asks why him and only him, and Nimbar's response is, it'll be easier to replace one Sentinel instead of all four if this is a trap. It's kind of uncharacteristically cold of Nimbar. Yes, he was going to send Lori on a mission alone once, but that was because it was just simple recon, not because it would have been easier to replace only her. Gordon transforms, and I happen to notice here that each of the Sentinels gets a trumpet strike sound effect when they transform, and when only one of them does, they only play the one, which sounds a little weird. Taurus arrives, but sees nothing. Nimbar finds that interesting, since according to the sensors, Ninjabot is right next to him. Ninjabot then teleports in. It is not like a fade-in or something like that. It's the teleportation effect, and the two of them fight. It's a quick battle, Taurus zapping Ninjabot until he teleports away. Supposedly. He returns to the cave and asks Nimbar if he got the monster. Nimbar says no, because he teleported away, right? Gordon can't believe it, since apparently he blasted the monster into a bunch of tiny little teleporty pieces. Nimbar explains that Ninjabot was never there to begin with. Basically, Nimbar believes that the Ninjabot was a hologram. Gordon thinks that he was completely safe the whole time then, but Nimbar says no, the hologram still could have killed him because pseudoscience says so. When Gordon asks why it didn't, Nimbar says that is what they have to find out. Nighttime at the cafe, and the other three Sentinels are killing time waiting for Gordon to return. Swinton tells the joke that he had mentioned to Ilsa earlier. Basically, it's that Einstein said E equals MC hammer, and the girls are unimpressed. He thinks they're just jealous because Ilsa loved that joke. Drew's tattoo flashes, and while I was hoping this would be a one Sentinel at a time situation, apparently they all flashed and they only showed hers, and they all take off. So apparently a couple of pages got cut from the script here. As the other Sentinels arrive at the cave, Nimbar and Gordon have already figured out that Ilsa is a spy, watching her watch the other Sentinels go through the portal and looking very angry. The guys are of course crushed, even trying to sort of morally justify dating her anyway, before realizing that she has betrayed her species to Gorganus. Lori says that she heard that Ilsa transferred to several different schools in the Beverly Hills area, and they realize that she's basically been waiting to catch the Sentinels going through a portal. That was the purpose of the Ninjabot hologram, drawing them out. Ilsa takes off an earring that's actually a secret communicator and tries to contact Gorganus. She now knows who the Sentinels are, and if she can get that information to Gorganus, he would be able to get to them anytime, anywhere. Nimbar jams the frequency, so she gets up and heads for the portal, since she can apparently adjust the portal to get to Molecula and report to Gorganus in person. He puts a stasis field on that portal, but it's temporary, so the Sentinels have to go and stop her and use a memory fader on her. Then we get a weird scene in the cafe as the Sentinels pop out of the back room and confront Ilsa. On the surface, it's actually a really good scene. Ilsa goes all badass James Bond villain, even dropping a chilling line about adding the Sentinel skulls to a road paved with the bones of Gorganus' enemies. The Sentinels mostly act as a team in confronting her, though of course the boys want to try to reform her so they can date her. Eventually, Lori just grabs the fader and goes to use it on Ilsa, but she disappears. Starting to think Ilsa might not be totally human here. So, pretty good scene, right? Why did I say this was so weird? Because there were still people in the friggin' cafe! I counted at least 3 sitting right next to where the Sentinels were standing. But everyone just goes on and on about Gorganus and Sentinels and we must stop you, absolutely out loud. In the next shot, all the people are gone, which makes it seem like they weren't intended to be there in the first place, but they clearly were. Anyway, they wonder what Nimbar is going to have to say about this, and they don't have to wait long to find out as he summons them. In the cave, he tells the Sentinels off because Ilsa almost got to him finding out his location. Say, Nimbar, did you wake up on the wrong side of the platter today? First telling Gordon that he's basically cannon fodder, and now blaming the Sentinels for something they had no control over? They tried to stop Ilsa. She escaped. It wasn't their fault. They may have talked to her for a little bit too long, but it wasn't until Lori tried to use the fader on her that she escaped. In the words of my narrator, take a chill pill, dude. Anyway, Nimbar was able to redirect that portal into the desert, and now with the jig completely up, she transforms back into Isolus. And sorry, Gordon, this is not a hologram, this is actually Isolus. I am not totally thrilled with the style of this reveal, but that's something I'm going to say for the pros and cons. We get that how are we going to beat her this time thing, but hey, that scene with Gorganus at the start of the episode did establish that they had fought her before. I don't actually have a problem with there being unseen battles that happen between episodes. There just needs to be something to establish that they did actually happen. The Sentinels get to work in what's a slightly better fight scene than last time. Centaur gets hit by one of the monster's freeze beams, but she just falls over. Later in the fight scene, Taurus gets hit by one of those freeze beams, but he gets frozen. Nimbar then doubles down on the Gordon hate, saying the others should have the wisdom to leave him there if it will save themselves. I'm starting to think that Gordon gave Nimbar some bad stock advice or something. The girls distract Isolus with a choreographed fight sequence, while Apollo retunes his whatever those things are, to lightly defrost Taurus. The Team Reunited, Apollo calls for them to form Nitron. Gorganus desperately needs the information that Isolus has, so he sends a portal so she can escape. Isolus looks to her left, sees absolutely nothing, and then returns to the fight. Yeah, clearly the intention was that she was supposed to see a portal there, but then in her pride decided to continue fighting. It's just that they didn't bother to actually put an effect there. It's actually a pretty good and entertaining sword fight with their shields both getting knocked away. Isolus fires a freezing beam at Nitron, but he resummons his shield and deflects it right back at her, freezing her. Nitron walks up to the monster, and if you were expecting a badass Sub-Zero style shattering, I am afraid I've got to disappoint you, as Nitron just touches her on the head, and she fades into sparkles. Gorganus was impressed with Isolus and says he'll have to try and find a way to recreate her. In the meantime, her remains are the perfect way to keep his drink nice and frosty. At the cafe, the guys are still pining over Ilsa, which Lori says is proof that guys never learn. They say it's clear that the girls were just jealous, which is proof that they're actually into them, which they flatly deny. Then a new gorgeous foreign exchange student walks in, and suddenly Ilsa is a faded memory as the guys jump up to meet her. Hearing about a new foreign exchange student, the girls go, "You don't think?" Which would have been funnier if they hadn't used that gag already. You know why Gordon and Swinton didn't get that Ilsa was playing them? It was because they didn't read the signs. Episode 7, The Spy. Pros: improving team dynamic, the chilling Ilsa, and improvement in the writing. Cons, grumpy Nimbar, a lot of off-screen explanation, and kind of sexist? There was a weird vibe to this one, but in the end, it turned out to be fairly average. The spy gets 3 signs out of 5. There were 2 specific examples of the team's dynamic improving. The first is actually pretty simple. Drew was throwing a party. At least I assume she was. It was at her house, but she doesn't really seem like the party-throwing type. And the other Sentinels were invited. The second is a little more complex, but I think it's still just as relevant. The guys get all goo-goo over Ilsa, and the girls try to talk them out of it, and keep trying. Even at the end of the episode, when Ilsa is gone and the guys are still all lovesick over her, they keep trying to make them see reason. If they weren't friends, they'd have no reason to care. Ilsa was played by Lisa Pepper in her very first acting role. She had a few more bit parts on TV in the 90s, did a couple of movies in the 2000s, and if IMDb is to be believed, is set to star with Anthony Hopkins in a film called Elise that's in post-production. The names are strikingly similar, actually. You can definitely see her acting chops here as she nails Ilsa's completely innocent, draw-you-in personality, but then that scenes with the Sentinels where she's promising their defeat. Let me put it to you this way. She was a lot scarier than Gorganus has ever been. Overall, from that strange little teaser that started off the episode onward, this episode just felt punched up a little bit. The monster plot is taken a little more seriously. The writing just feels a little bit more involved. It kind of feels like this was the point where something major happened. It might have been when the show was picked up by NBC. I'm not really sure of the date there. And just, they realized that this show was more than a little parody, that it had some actual staying power, and started taking things a bit more seriously. Up until this episode, Nimbar's character was kind of grandfatherly. That's a term that I've used before. He's sweet with the Sentinels. Up to a point, he does get on them when there's a lesson for them to learn. They've messed up. They've earned it. He was just never really outright mean to them until today, especially with Gordon, just outright telling him that he's expendable, replaceable. I mean, that does seem to be why he selected him for the Ninja Bot fight, right? Easiest to replace. It gets weirder when the entire team is fighting and Gordon gets frozen. At that point, we are the only ones that can hear Nimbar. The team can't. But it's like the writers really wanted us to know that Nimbar is absolutely fine with replacing Gordon. It was just kind of a step back for the Blob. If he even has feet. This show has never exactly lingered on the fine details, but it was especially bad today. When Nimbar summoned Gordon, they had a strange energy reading in the desert. When the rest of the team arrives, Ilsa's a spy, she's communicating with Galvanax, we have to stop her now. Then she disappears, they redirect her to the desert, oh, by the way, she's actually iceless. There's no flow to any of the reveals. They're not treated with any respect or shock. Everything just kind of happens. This might be the era in which the episode aired, but it comes off feeling just a little bit sexist. The boys are portrayed as mindless, lovesick puppies, absolutely powerless against a beautiful woman, even when they find out that she's an evil spy. But at least that sexism is evenly spread, as the women are portrayed to be jealous and catty even before knowing that Ilsa is a spy. I get that that jealousy sets up the shipping possibilities, but nobody ends up looking good here. This episode just had a different feel about it for some reason. Like I said, it seems like this might have been around the point where the show was picked up by NBC and some changes were made. Some of them I like, the more complex monster stuff. Some of them I don't, a grumpier, jerky Nimbar. So funny enough, despite feeling so different, overall it kind of weighs out to an average episode of the show. Alright, if you folks will give me just a second, I'm going to get totally not 90s dude on the phone here because it's time for the next time segment, so. Hey, totally. Yeah, sorry about the mix-up there with the next time thing. The read that you have now should be fine. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, listen, I checked the DVD menu to be sure. That's what we're going to go with now. And you don't even have to actually worry about it because it's the 8th episode on both lists. Right, it's called commitments, so take it away. Alright, dude, but you better be sure about this. I hate looking like a fool, especially when I sound so awesome! Anyway, Drew and Gordon pose as a couple when they use the bracelet belonging to Gordon's mom to save the world. And that, dear heroes, will bring us to the end of another Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills episode review. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. In the comments below, let me know what you thought of this episode. Did it feel different to you as well, or just another episode of TTAF? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure to smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all of my videos and ring that bell. Get your notifications set up so you get notified by email or text message or whatever for whenever I post brand new videos like these Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills episode reviews. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, head on over to ko-fi.com/orangerangervideos. You can buy me a coffee. Those are set at $3, and I'd greatly appreciate any of them I find there. Until next time, heroes, may the power portals protect you. Okay, so we're starting things off at the end. The team completely reunited tore a fart! The girls distract Taurus. Gosh, dang it. Even when the episode is over and the guys are still pining over Ilsa, the girls keep trying to make the... Ilsa was played by Lisa Pepper, her very first acting role. When the rest of the team arrives... Oh yeah, by the way, Ilsa's a spy. She's... Alright, if you folks will give me just a second, it's time for the next time thing. I just need to get totally not... Thank you much, so much, much.